So guys, in today's video we are going to look after that how we are going to prepare alcohols from Grignard reagents. Yes, the same Grignard reagent which we have seen in the haloalkenes and the haloarenes chapter. So if you can recall, how did we prepare the Grignard reagents? Yeah, so whenever we treat an alkyl halide in the presence of a magnesium and also majorly the solvent chosen is a dry ether, we will be getting a Grignard reagent. What is a Grignard reagent? They are the alkyl or the aryl magnesium halides. Alva, general formula will be RMgX. So in today's video we are mainly concentrating that how can we prepare the alcohols with respect when you're using Grignard reagent, one of the most important thing. Yes, why is it important? I will be saying it in this video itself. But first let us see that how can we prepare the alcohols from Grignard reagents. So similarly, here we are mainly going to choose our aldehydes and ketones as the one of the reactant which is going to react with that of your Grignard reagent. So what happens? Remember, whenever we are writing a Grignard reagent, how do we write it? Yes, RMgX, where I have mentioned that your R, alkyl or aryl group, will be having a delta minus and your magnesium metal will be having a delta plus. So in this reaction, majorly the first step involves the nucleophilic addition. I repeat, the first step will be with respect to the nucleophilic addition. Nucleophilic addition of your Grignard reagent to the carbonyl group, of our aldehydes or ketones. So when it happens so, it first of all forms an adduct. So once you have got an adduct, by the acid hydrolysis, we will be getting our corresponding alcohols. So this is the major thing one has to know when we are dealing with the Grignard reagent. So first and the foremost thing, let me give you certain reactions so that it would be easy. So whatever we have explained, you can just look after over them. So as I have said, I would be choosing my carbonyl compound. So basically I am writing my carbonyl compound in this way. Why I have written this, you will come to know when I give the explanation once again. So when it is treated with your RMgX, RMg and an X. Yes, since Mg is giving its electrons to R, so I have written my arrow from Mg to R. So R is having a delta minus, Mg is having a delta plus. We know that when we are comparing the electronegativity of carbon and oxygen is somewhat highly electronegative. So it will be attracting the pi electrons towards itself. So what happens? There will be a less density on the carbon, or we can say the carbon will be having a delta positive, oxygen will be having a delta negative. Since here whatever the carbon is there, it is having a delta positive, what it will try to do? It will try to attract our alkyl group, alkyl or an aryl group of our Grignard reagent. So how I should write? Yes, the arrow mark should be from negative to positive side. Yes, you can just see after writing this arrow itself, I am writing this arrow. What does this arrow indicate? That whatever the pi electrons which were in between your carbon and oxygen in a carbonyl group was more attracted towards the oxygen, and hence your carbon will get a positive charge, or we can say a delta positive charge. Since it is having a positive charge, what it will try to do? It will try to attract the alkyl or the aryl group of our magnesium or our Grignard reagents. So then what does it do? So once you have formed, it will form an adduct as I mentioned. So this was what? A nucleophilic addition of the Grignard reagent. Since our alkyl or aryl group is a nucleophile, so what it's doing is going and adding over them. Nothing is substituted. It is just going and adding. So it is what? Nucleophilic nucleophilic addition reaction. So when does your nucleophilic addition reaction of Grignard reagent takes place? I said that it will give you an adduct. It's called as what? Adduct. So this adduct, I'm going to show it over here now. See, this is C as usual. Now what has happened? R has come and attached this carbon. So here you will be getting our R. Then as usual, you are having your O. Since it is having minus, Mg is plus, so O, Mg, X. So this is called as what? An adduct. Okay. Now we will be converting this adduct to our corresponding alcohol. How we will be doing it? By the acid hydrolysis. H2O in the presence of an acid. So when you are treating doing your adduct and acid hydrolysis, we will be getting our corresponding alcohols. ROH plus MgOH. Can you see over here? So what is the general thing what we have done from the Grignard reagent? So whenever an aldehyde or a ketone, basically when I am talking about a carbonyl groups, in this case I have generally taken my aldehydes or ketones. So whenever our aldehydes or ketones or generally carbonyl compounds reacts to the Grignard reagent, nucleophilic addition of Grignard reagent takes place. Yes, that's we have seen over here. So when that nucleophilic addition takes place, what it will first give? It will give you an adduct. Then by the acid hydrolysis of the adduct, give us the alcohol, corresponding alcohol. Again and again when I was dealing with this from Grignard reagent, how we are preparing, I was again and again mentioning that corresponding alcohol. Why is it so? Remember guys, here one important points you have to remember. What are those points? The first point. So whenever we are talking about an aldehyde and more particularly formaldehyde, this is a common name. If I take its IUPAC name, yes, methanol. When this methanol is treated with a Grignard reagent, it will be giving you only primary alcohol. It will be giving us what? Primary alcohol. Is that clear? If you take any other aldehyde other than your methanol or other than your formaldehyde, any other aldehyde, so we would be getting our secondary alcohol. If you take any ketone, so after the acid hydrolysis, we will be getting what? Tertiary alcohol. What we would be getting? Tertiary alcohol. So in our previous video, what did we see? Yeah, whenever we were doing the reduction of our aldehyde, yes, in the presence of hydrogen and the presence of the nickel, palladium or platinum catalyst, you were getting a primary alcohol. There we were specific. Any aldehyde you choose, you were getting a primary alcohol. In case if you choose a ketone, what we were getting? Secondary alcohol. Are you able to understand the difference? So in the previous video we have seen whenever we were doing the reduction of an aldehyde in the presence of hydrogen and the presence of a catalyst, we were getting a primary alcohol. In case if you are doing the reduction for the ketone, we were getting the secondary alcohol. But here there is a somewhat different points. What are those? Whenever we are taking a methanol or that was of your formaldehyde, we would be getting a primary alcohol. In case if you are choosing any other aldehyde except that of your methanol, we would be getting what? Secondary alcohol. Are you able to see the difference from the previous video to this video? If you are choosing your ketone, we will be getting our tertiary alcohol. For that is the reason I have left this places as it is. So when I talk about my formaldehyde or methanol, what will be the formula? Yes, it will be HCHO. This is your formaldehyde or methanol. Yes. Now let us check out that how it is giving us primary alcohol. Why I am saying I am getting a primary alcohol. Nothing you have to do. Just we have got to know. Just you have to substitute the respective groups in these two positions. Other than that of your carbonyl group. Carbonyl group in a suttamutta yav group iruttade correct agi hakbeku. So if I take this is my general reaction what I have written. So in this case what I should do if I am choosing my formaldehyde? Yes. Here also H. Here also H. Chala again agutte HCHO. So if I write in that way, how it will be? HCH double bond O. I have got my formula. 1H C. Yes. H. Okay. O. HCHO. So when I am treating this one with my RMgx, yes, so my R will be having what? Delta minus, Mg will be having delta plus. Due to the electronegativity difference between the carbon and oxygen, what happens? Oxygen will try to attract the pi electron towards itself, so carbon will be getting a positive charge. So this delta minus comes and attacks over you. So once it attacks, what it will try to do? Yes, it will be forming an adduct. So don't forget to write here H, here one H, so here comes what? R. Yes, and as usual you will be getting O, Mg, X. So this is what? It is an adduct. Alva, this is now an adduct. So when this adduct is undergone what? Acid hydrolysis, that's H2O, in the presence of H plus. So no. So what it will be giving you? You just see. Otherwise you just see over. What we have done? We have this bond has been broken off. Allah. So now this bond has been broken means here also the same bond has to be broken off. So what happens? You will be getting as a C, H, H, R, and here you will be getting as an OH, and as usual MgX or MgOHX. So this can be written as what? R CH2OH. Can you see? So what type of an alcohol it is? It is a primary alcohol. What it is? It is a primary alcohol. So when I got a primary alcohol, when I am choosing my aldehyde as a formaldehyde or a methanol. So in many cases they can give you formaldehyde itself, so you should remember the common name. So whenever a formaldehyde is treated with a Grignard reagent, we would be getting a primary alcohol. We would be getting what? Primary alcohol. The name of the alcohol depends upon what type of an alkyl group is present in your Grignard reagent, but that is not the matter over here. We want major concept is what? Whenever a formaldehyde is treated with a Grignard reagent, we would be getting a primary alcohol. Okay. Now let us check after the any other aldehydes. For example, if I choose as a RCHO, alva, any other aldehydes means aldehydes ka general formula is what? If I am other than the formaldehyde, if I am going to write, I can write it as RCHO. So now this RCHO, how can it be written? Yeah, the same way. So now here comes R, here comes H. So I can write it as what? For example, C double bond O group is there. Here two groups are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 valency has to be there. 4 bonds. So now R is missing. So I will write over here. H is missing. I will write over here. Can you see the difference? You will only get to know why we are getting a secondary alcohol in this case. Once again, now when I write as an RMgX, what it will try to do that R comes and attacks over you. So a carbon will be attached to the two other carbon atoms. So it will be a secondary carbon atom. That is the reason alcoholic group will be attached to such secondary carbon atom. It will be giving a secondary alcohol. Let us see how does it do so. When you treat this one with an Grignard reagent RMgX. So what happens? Yes, here the shifting of the electrons takes place. Your R is having a delta minus, Mg is having a delta plus. So what it will do? This comes and attacks our carbon. So it will give you an adduct. So R, C, H, and here once again R. Yes. Then O, Mg, X. Yes. So this is your adduct. This is my adduct. So now once you have got an adduct, now what you are going to do? Acid hydrolysis, H2O in the presence of H plus. So what happens now? This bond breaks off. So we will be getting an OH group attached over here. So how we will be having that group? R, C, H, R, and then OH plus Mg, OH, X. So can you see the difference? So here what we have seen, there was only one alkyl group which was attached to our carbon, which is further attached to our hydroxy group. So it was what? Primary carbon atom. But here what has happened, whatever the hydroxy group has been attached to a carbon is further attached to two other carbon atoms. So this will be what then? Secondary carbon atom. So whatever the alcohol we have got, it will be a secondary alcohol. Secondary alcohol. be able to understand. So how can you write it? And generally, if I want to write it in a proper way, RCH ROH. Can you see? The carbon atom is further attached to two other carbon atoms. So it will be a secondary carbon atom. So when alcoholic group is attached to the secondary carbon atom, it will be called as what? Secondary alcohol. So how did I get this secondary alcohol? When I am choosing aldehyde other than that of your formaldehyde or methanol. Alva. So when you're not using your methanol or a formaldehyde, what any other aldehydes gives you what? Secondary alcohol. Very much important thing. Okay. Now let us check out for ketones. Of course, you can only now predict it. You know, the ketones means how can I write? Yes, R, C, double bond O and an R. This is general formula for ketones. So in our Grignard reagent reactions, how can I write? Yes, two R's are missing. This R and this R. So here also R, here also R. You should just see the difference. Here both were H. So one alkyl group came and attached. Here of course we are having one alkyl group, another alkyl group come and attached. So we got a secondary alcohol. Here what has happened? Two already are present. Now what happens? From the Grignard reagent, one more alkyl group comes and attaches. So it will be resulting in a tertiary carbon atom. So alcohol will be attached to tertiary carbon atom means what it will be? A tertiary alcohol. So delta minus, delta plus, here it moves to over here. So this R now attacks our carbon. Yes, so you will be getting as what? R, C, R. Of course, I have written these two. Now this R has also come and attached. So one more R. Single bond alva. See, one bond has shift over. So only one bond is existing. O, Mg and an X. So this is what? An adduct. This is an adduct. So when this adduct is undergone what? Acid hydrolysis. Remember, only after the acid hydrolysis of the adduct we are getting our corresponding alcohol. So in this case now what happens? Yes, my C is having already 3 R's, that is alkyl or aryl group, which will be attached to further OH plus MgOH(X). So now this is what? A tertiary alcohol. A tertiary alcohol. So very much important concept. So whenever we are treating our carbonyl groups with the Grignard reagent, one common thing we came to know that, okay, it will be giving you the alcohols. But one of the noteworthy point what we came to know, whenever a formaldehyde or a methanol, I repeat, whenever a formaldehyde or a methanol is reacted with a Grignard reagent, we are getting what? Primary alcohol. Yes. So whenever any other aldehyde other than the formaldehyde or methanol is used, we would be getting secondary alcohol. In case if you are using the ketones with the Grignard reagent, we are getting a tertiary alcohol. So certain times they can ask you the question in many competitive exams in this way. Rx in the presence of Mg and a dry ether, you'll be getting a product A. So when that product A is reacted with RC double bond O and an R, identify the product B. So what you can observe over here, here we have utilized the two important concepts. One is from the haloalkanes and the haloarenes. We are seeing that how can we prepare a Grignard reagent. So through A, what you are going to get? A Grignard reagent. Rx plus Mg in the presence of dry ether gives us what? Grignard reagent. So you'll be getting what? RMgX. So once this you are getting a Grignard reagent, when it is treated with a ketone, what will be your B? A tertiary alcohol. So each and every concepts are interrelated. So you have to also notify in this way so that it will be easy for you for better understanding. For example, if they give you as now here as a CH3Cl in the presence of Mg and dry ether. So what will be your A? Yes, it will be CH3MgCl. In case if I give now CH3, C double bond O, CH3. So what will be now B? Yes, You have treated your magnesium halide, your methyl magnesium chloride with a, what is this, ketonic groups, alva. So what we'll be getting is your propane 2-one. So what we'll be getting, we know that the concept that whenever an Grignard reagent reacts with a ketone, I should get my tertiary alcohol. So what will be my product? Yes. So let me write over here. So of course now this is my ketone. So this C will be attached to the 3 methyl groups along with OH. So this will be my product. Are you able to understand the difference? So by this way they can ask you the question even in your competitive exam. So you should come to know that first how the Grignard reagent is prepared. If you are knowing that knowledge, easily you'll get to know from the concept A. You're getting to know A. Then when Grignard reagent is reacting with ketones, of course you should switch your mind. Okay, the preparation of alcohols from Grignard reagent. There you should switch to your mind. Okay, we have got a ketone. Then of course whatever the product we should get should be a tertiary alcohol. So next let us solve certain equations. Of course they are not included for your second PU syllabus, but it would be useful when solving certain competitive exam questions. Okay. So you have been given with a question. Let me give in this way. CH3MgI, yes, plus HC double bond OH. Okay. So do the reaction. Don't worry, don't get panicked whenever you have been given with a question. Okay, you just try to take this reaction in a general format. What is the general format? Okay, if I take it as an RMgX, which has been getting treated with what? HC double bond OH. Is that true? So first what you should do, an adduct should form. So how it will be going to form? HCH. Of course now this R, let us give this R as an R dash. So you should get to remember what is that? R dash in the given group is what? CH3. Don't get confused. You first write the general reaction. Okay, here R comes and here you will be getting as what? OMgX. And what is X over here? I. Yes. So X is I, R dash is CH3. Okay. So you have got an adduct. So when this adduct is undergone what? Acid hydrolysis. So what you are going to get? HCH, R and then OH. Plus you will be getting as what? MgOHX. Now what you do? You just replace the values of your R dash and your X. Okay, let me take here also R dash. Alva. So R dash means what? CH3. X means what? I. So when I take that reaction, what I can write? Yes, I can write as a CH3. Alva. R dash means what? CH3. Okay, no need to confuse you. C. Okay, here also H. Here you'll be getting as a CH3 and then OH plus MgOHI. So how can I write this one now? CH3 CH2 OH plus MgOHI. Why I'm saying this? Because if you know this general reaction, you can easily substitute it, because certain cases they can give you certain bulky Grignard reagent in order to confuse you. So when you write your structure, you can leave one or two groups. So don't go with that confusion. First you write the general reaction, get the product in a general way. Then substitute whatever the R and the X value is. For example, they have given you one more reaction. Let me give in that way itself. Okay. CH3, CH, CH3 and an MgBr. Can you see what is your alkyl magnesium bromide they have given? You have an alkyl group somewhat bulk over here. Alva. So now what you will do? So now this is treated with once again with your HC double bond OH. So if you take like this itself, for some pupils it would be a difficult task. So what I will do, let me take this was as my R group. Okay, remember R group, whatever you're choosing, it should be in a proper way. So it will be what? R MgX form alva. So R jagdali again baribodano CH3 CH CH3. And should remember where is the bond is there. So R has MgBr has been attached to this CH group. Okay. So this is my R. What is my X? Okay, Br. So I know that when I am doing with my general reaction RMgX plus HCHO, I should know that I am getting a primary alcohol. That means what? C, which will be attached to the two other hydrogens, and one R with an OH plus Mg OH and an X. So now what I will do over here, this R I have to substitute, and do remember this bond, where it will get into bond to this carbon. Alva. You have to just check it out. E carbon hatranu 4 valencies is there, E carbon hatranu 4 valencies is there. How many valencies for this carbon? 1, 2, 3. Yes or no? So in order to generate this, illige bandu attach agbeku. So ಏನಿಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಈಗ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, here you are having H, you are having C and an H. So here now what should come? Yes, now this CH comes and attaches. So here comes your CH, CH3 and CH3. Are you able to see the difference? Yeah. So then you will be having what? OH plus Mg OH Br. Are you able to see? But for that reason I have said, see how much bulky group. If you just took this group and you have done in a normal way, it would be better confusing terms. So better to write it a general way, and then you substitute your alkyl or the aryl groups. Similarly, let's look after one more example. Let me take now a cyclohexane, which has been attached to that of your magnesium bromide. Okay, so now let us take this one when it's treated with a HC double bond OH. Of course, formaldehyde means, it's to strike to your brain what we are going to get a primary alcohol. So what will be the general structure of the primary alcohol we are going to get? If I am going to write as a generally, RMgX, when it's reacting with your HC double bond OH, I know that I should get as what? RCH2OH. Alva. Now this is my R. So in this case the R is what? Your cyclohexane group. So basically now what I should do? I should just write my structure is in this way. CH2OH. Can you see how much simple is it? So you have to understand the first general reaction. Okay. Now let us go with my secondary alcohols. Okay. If I am going to choose as CH3MgBr. CH3MgBr is treated with CH3C double bond OH. Oh sorry, alva, CH3C double bond OH. So I have chosen an aldehyde which is other than the formaldehyde or methanol. So one concept, what is that I know? So whenever we are talking about any other aldehydes, when it's reacted with the Grignard reagent, you are going to get a secondary alcohol. Okay. So first here we have to note one important point. What is that? Of course, my general formula was what? RMgX. When it reacts with any other aldehydes, I should write it as what? RCOOH. So you just do one important. This R anta tagonana, iduna R dash anta tagonana. Of course, in the given example, R and R dash are same. But in order to understand, in case if they will be different, how you should do it. So let me take R as what? CH3. R dash as what? CH3. In both the cases, it is CH3. So of course I know what I should get what? Secondary alcohol. So how your secondary alcohol will be? The C which is attached to our OH should be further attached to the two other R groups. Okay, R and R dash, or you can take R and R dash. It is in your wish. So by this case, how I should get my final product? Yes. So one is my CH3. So I should write as a CH3 which is attached to C. And another group is also CH3 and an OH. So this will be my product. Yes or no? So what will be its name? Again I write it CH3C RCOH. Yes or no? So here one H is missing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here also you'll be having one H and an OH. So in this way also you can write it. So we have to check a longest chain rule. So in barutte, whenever we are treating our methyl magnesium bromide with methanol, what is the product we are getting? Yeah. So it is 1, 2, 3. Propane to all. So by this way you have to remember certain things. So if I take an example for a tertiary what I should do? Yes, if I take as a CH3 MgBr. Yes, so when it is treated with your propane 2-on CH3 C double bond O CH3. Of course, what is the concept? I know that I should get a tertiary alcohol. But what I should do over here, let me write first my general reaction. RMgX is reacting with RC double bond OR. Take this as an R, this one as an R dash, this one as R double dash. Of course, in this case, all are same, but it is not necessary that in all the cases they should be same. So just write it inside. R is what? CH3. R dash is what? Okay, CH3. R double dash is also CH3. So in this case, no problem. So of course, I know that I should get what? Tertiary alcohol. That is, the C should be attached to the 3 alkyl groups, which is further attached to my OH. So in this case, what is there? This will be R, R dash and R double dash. So what is the final product for the reaction I should get? Yeah. So C, which will be attached to one CH3, another CH3, another CH3 and then OH. Yes or no? So by this way, we will be getting our final product. So CH3, C, OH, CH3, the CH3. So what will be its name? 1, 2. Yeah, 2-methyl propane 2-ol. So whenever we are talking about your methyl magnesium bromide is treating with that of your what? Propane 2-on, what you are getting? 2-methyl propane 2-ol, our final product, which will be a tertiary alcohol. So by this way, we have to solve certain equations whenever they have been given. First, you remember how to write the general reaction. Then from that general reaction, first you identify which will be your R group, which will be your X group. So once you have got the final product, then you just substitute what is the values of R and R dash or R double dash. You will be getting our final product as an alcohols. Do remember, whenever we are talking about a formaldehyde, when it is treated with that of your Grignard reagent, we will be getting a primary alcohol. Any other aldehydes other than the formaldehyde, you will be getting a secondary alcohol. And in case if you are using your ketones with a Grignard reagent, we will be getting our tertiary alcohol. Is that clear? Okay. So next we are going to see how can we prepare phenols. I repeat, how can we prepare phenols? So guys, now let us look after preparation of phenols. What is that? Preparation of phenols. What is the structure of the phenol? Yes, your benzene ring will be there. To that benzene ring, we will be having an hydroxy group attached. So of course, in the preparation of the phenol, the first concept we are going to see that how can you prepare the phenols from haloarenes. From haloarenes. Can you recall something? The same concept we have read in the chapter of haloalkanes and the haloarenes. And moreover, I would like to say that the same reaction will be seen over here. Can you recall that reaction, please? From haloarenes, how can you prepare your phenol? If you want a hint, I can give a hint that it comes under the concept of a nucleophilic substitution reactions of our haloarenes. And majorly, particularly, we have seen that how does a chlorobenzene is converted to the phenol. So if you can recall, well and good, I can say that you have been working hard with respect to the organic reactions. If not, you have to work hard. So from the haloarenes, the same reactions we are going to check out. So do remember, when chlorobenzene is treated with sodium hydroxide, do remember the conditions are very much important. Why is it so? I have mentioned because nucleophilic substitution reactions of haloarenes is very much difficult, and we have seen certain facts that why it is difficult. Okay, the same scenario withheld over here. What is that? So that is the reason we have to maintain some specific conditions of nearly 623 Kelvin temperature. Can you see what is the high temperature we are using? and at nearly 300 atmospheric pressure. Since we are going to do what? Nucleophilic substitution reaction, which is very hard in case of your haloarenes. Why is it so? Because they are resonance stabilized. The carbon atom which is bonded to our chlorine is further sp2 hybridized, and moreover, attacking is also a nucleophile, and whatever the electron density on your benzene ring is, it is also very high. So mutual repulsion takes place. So in order to overcome all these effects, and also we have to do the nucleophilic substitution reaction, which we are maintaining certain specific condition. So in this case, we are maintaining the temperature of nearly 623 Kelvin temperature and 300 atmosphere. So first you will be getting a sodium phenate. Okay, that is, you will be having ONA, that is, our benzene will be attached to that of your ONA. So this will be O minus Na plus, slight polarity will be exist. Then once this sodium phenate has been formed, it is then reacted with your HCl, or we can say it has been acidified. So basically it is called as sodium phenoxide. Sodium phenoxide. Alva, this is sodium, this is phenol which has been attached to oxide. So sodium phenoxide. Sodium phenoxide. So then it is acidified with HCl. Finally, we get our alcohol. Do remember, you have to write it in the same way. So when chlorobenzene is reacted with NaOH at nearly 623 Kelvin temperature and 300 atmospheric pressure, first we will be getting our sodium phenoxide. So once this sodium phenoxide is obtained, in order to then on acidifying it, we will be getting our phenol. Please do the write the pi electrons. Now an additional information, let us look after it. So remember guys, whenever first chlorobenzene is an additional information, okay, so whenever a chlorobenzene, first it reacts with sodium hydroxide at 623 Kelvin temperature and 300 atmospheric pressure. For our astonishment, of course, we got phenol. First namge phenol sikkittu. But what happens, since we have taken this NaOH in a greater amount, the basic strength of the solvent will be very high. In solvent ನಾವು NaOH ನ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, basic strength ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So whatever the phenol which has been obtained, it will not be extracted. Instead, what it will do, once again it will react with NaOH present in the system. So ಆ ಒಂದು reaction ಇಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ, sodium phenoxide ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Are you able to see? For that reason we have written O minus Na plus. 623 300 atmosphere stop ಆಗೋದು ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಗೆ, ಈ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ಲಸ್ H2O. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು, ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಹೈ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಈಗ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ನ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ನ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು, ಆಸಿಡ್ ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ. ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ acidified with HCl. So once it gets acidified, you will be getting our phenol plus NaCl. That is the reason I mentioned that certain peoples, what they do, just they write Cl plus NaOH at 623 Kelvin temperature, 300 atmosphere, directly they write hydroxide, but that is your phenol. This phenol will not be obtained in this condition. Why? Because this sodium phenoxide will be formed. On acidifying this sodium phenoxide, you will be getting your OH. In certain cases, they can ask you for 1 mark, 623 Kelvin temperature, 300 atmosphere and H plus. If they have mentioned it, you can write it in this way. Or else, if they are also not specific, you be specific. First you write this, then you write HCl, and then you write your phenol. Why is it so? I have explained over here. Of course, whatever the phenol we have obtained in the first case, it is not being extracted. Instead, what happens? It once again reacts with the sodium hydroxide which is present in the system, giving you what? Sodium phenoxide. So in order to neutralize the base which we have used as a solvent, we will be acidifying it with HCl. So on acidification of sodium phenoxide, we will be getting our respective phenol. Okay, so by this way we can obtain our phenols from haloarenes. Now let us see the next one. How can we obtain phenol from benzene sulfonic acid? What is the formula? Benzene sulfonic acid into benzene sulfonic acid. What is the formula? The benzene ring which will be attached to SO3H group. Alva. So basically ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ from benzene sulfonic acid ಅಂದ್ರೆ first and the foremost thing what we do is first we treat our benzene with oleum. Oleum means what? Yes, pyrosulfuric acid ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, H2S2O7 ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲ್ಫ್ಯೂರಿಕ್ ಆಸಿಡ್ ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ oleum plays its vital role. Yes, so it is also called an oleum or a pyrosulfuric acid, so H2S2O7. So utilizing this oleum, first we will be preparing our benzene sulfonic acid. Okay, SO thrice H. Then on treating this benzene sulfonic acid with sodium hydroxide, and once again this is first, and once again the second part again we will do the acidification. There we are going to get our phenol as the final product. Okay, this is general reaction according to your syllabus. This much is enough. Once again, if you have written, give the reaction and give the reaction how can you obtain phenol from the benzene sulfonic acid. If you write an explanation and corresponding reaction, your marks will be awarded. But now let us see certain additional information. Why is it happening so? So what happens is basically, first of course from here I am going to write, of course first when you have obtained your benzene sulfonic acid by treating your benzene with an oleum, it is first treated with NaOH. It's first treated with NaOH. So what does it give is the important funda. So first it gives us SO thrice Na. That is what? Sodium benzene sulfonate. What it is? So this is called as what? Sodium. This is sodium benzene sulfonate. This is my first part what I am getting. Okay. Then what we do is basically it is once again then treated with, or we can say fused with, sodium hydroxide nearly 623 Kelvin temperature. So ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಈ sodium benzene sulfonate ಏನು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಇದು once again it reacts with our NaOH. So when it reacts with NaOH, at that scenario, see, you will be getting your phenol. You will be getting our phenol plus Na2SO3. Okay. But this phenol will not remain as such as we have seen in the earlier case. Since NaOH is present, so this phenol, what it will try to do, once again it reacts with NaOH. Once again it reacts with NaOH. Very, we can say lazy fellow. No, not lazy, we can say. Very reluctant fellow. He don't want to come with an answer at an instant of time. It requires some longer duration. So this phenol, once again it reacts with NaOH. So what does it give? Yes, sodium phenoxide, ONA. So once you have obtained this sodium phenoxide, of course we have seen, then you acidify it, then you will be getting our respective phenol. So this is the general reaction. See how much long alva in your syllabus they are given just in one line, so that it will be better. What you can say, it can easily sit in your mind. But if you are a chemist, if you want to understand the chemistry behind it, this is what it is taking place. So once you have whatever the benzene sulfonic acid you have obtained, it is first treated with NaOH to give what? Sodium benzene sulfonate. So again this sodium benzene sulfonate, what it will try to do, it will be treated with NaOH to give as what? Sodium, sorry, it will be treated with NaOH. At that moment you will be getting our phenol. But this phenol is such much reluctant that once again it reacts with your NaOH to give our sodium phenoxide. So then on obtain the sodium phenoxide, what we will try to do, we will try to neutralize this NaOH by addition of your HCl. So on acidification, finally we will be getting our phenol. So by this way, we can easily obtain our phenol from benzene sulfonic acid. Do remember, I like to wish once again, those who can't, I'm just giving this one as an additional information. No need of remembering it. It is on depending upon your case. Those who feel it is difficult, you can just neglect this part. But this reaction is very much important. In certain competitive exams, of course, they have given in your book also they have given this part is they have given. But I have given additional over here that how we are getting this benzene sulfonic acid. So whenever we treat benzene with an oleum, we will be getting a benzene sulfonic acid. Then on treatment of this benzene sulfonic acid with NaOH and on acidification, finally we will be getting our phenol. Okay. Now let us look after the another reaction, that how can we prepare the phenol from diazonium salt. From diazonium salt. Yes, you have to recall your Sandmeuse reaction, half of the reaction from there, that how can you prepare a diazonium salt first. Of course, in the Sandmeuse reaction, we have seen that whenever an aniline, that is a benzene ring which is attached to the NH2 group, aniline, is treated with nitrous acid, nearly in the temperature range of 273 to 278 Kelvin, will be getting a benzene diazonium chloride, if you remember it. Yes. So basically there I have mentioned that whatever the nitrous acid we are getting. So first let me give you the reaction what your syllabus containing. So basically what is then given is, yeah, in this way your aniline, first it is reacted with sodium nitrite. Remember, sodium nitrite, Nitrite, NO2 untalva. It is nitrite, not nitrate, okay? Plus HCl. This temperature range is very much important. 273 to 278 Kelvin, converted to degree Celsius. By the end I have completed this reaction. Yes. So then it will be giving you what? Benzene diazonium salt. We can see N2 plus Cl minus is a benzene diazonium chloride, which means a diazonium salt. Then on treatment of with warm water, we will be getting our phenol OH plus N2 plus HCl. This is a general reaction according to your syllabus. But I want to give certain additional information. First important question. Why we have taken a mixture over here, that is sodium nitrate plus HCl. Once again, an additional information. So remember, whenever we are treating our sodium nitrite with an HCl, an important product which is very much important for our diazotization is important. That is, nitrous acid is prepared, HNO2. What it is called as HNO2 plus NaCl. This nitrous acid is very much important to carry out this reaction. So that is the reason the mixture of sodium nitrate plus HCl, and see the temperature at that mixture, we will be getting what? Our nitrous acid. So once we have obtained this nitrous acid, now let us look after that how does our reaction will be carried out. Of course, I have said you have to use your aniline. Important process is what? We have to prepare this diazonium salt. That part I am giving you. Okay, let me take my NH2 in here so that it will be easy for me to write. NH2. Let me take my HNO2 as like this. HNO2 and an OH. Okay. And once again in the presence of HCl, because some amount of HCl will be present. So what happens over here? See, this H2 goes with this oxygen, and just giving you how to remember it, and this OH with this H. So 2 moles of water has gone out. So whatever you will be remaining, what you will be getting? Yes, this benzene ring you will be having. Now what has been left out? One nitrogen from here, another nitrogen from here. So you will be getting as what? N2. And one more you have got over Cl. So N2 plus Cl minus. So this is what the general reaction is taking place. So this is also taking place at a temperature range of how much? 273 to 278 Kelvin. Nearly 273 Kelvin raised to 0 degrees Celsius. Can you see? At a very low temperature, nearing the freezing point, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈ reactions na carry out ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. So this is what, how can we prepare our benzene diazonium chloride. So once you got this benzene diazonium chloride, as I have mentioned, you can just easily hydrolyzing it. You will be getting our phenol. But the important concept is over here. So whenever here I have to mention one more important definition. What is that? Diazotization ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Diazotization. ಈ process na ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? Diazotization. Why we are given this name? What do you mean by this diazo? Remember, in Greek, azo means nitrogen anta. Azo group and nitro groups. Azo groups means nitro groups. But since in our benzene diazonium chloride we are having how many nitrogen groups? 2 groups, alwa. So we are using the word as what? Di. Since the 2 groups are nitrogen, it is azo. So therefore, diazo. The process whatever we are carrying out in order to obtain this, it is called as what? Diazotization. Okay. Then how can you define this diazotization? Remember, very much important. Once again, we are going to see this reaction in our chapter of amines. Okay. There I will not be saying. Okay, you should keep this one in your mind. So diazotization means what? Means it's a process of what? Process of conversion of primary amine. What is that? Conversion of primary amine. I have explained what do you mean by primary amine when I was taking my Sandmeier's reaction. So conversion of a primary amine, or we can say aromatic primary amine. Conversion of aromatic primary amine to diazonium salts. To diazonium salts. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ that process itself is called as what? Diazotization. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ aromatic primary amine ಯಾವ್ದು? ಇಲ್ಲಿ aniline. Aniline is the common name. Okay, aniline. ಏನು RNH2 ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಅಮೈನ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಸಿನ್ಸ್ R is what? An aromatic group, so it is what? Aromatic primary amine. So whenever such aromatic primary amine is converted to that of your diazonium salt, that process itself is called as what? Diazotization. I have said you why we have got this word as diazo. Azo means nitro. Since there are two such nitro groups, it will be called as what? Di. So diazo. The process will be overall called as what? Diazotization. Okay. So now very much important part we are going to see, that how can we prepare the phenol from cumene. Very much important part. So first and the foremost thing we have to remember, what is this cumene? Because certain times they can ask you what is cumene. Remember, cumene means you will be describing it as an isopropyl benzene. What will be called as isopropyl benzene. So generally isopropyl benzene ನಾವು ಕ್ಯುಮೀನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಈ ಕ್ಯುಮೀನ್ ನ? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯುಮೀನ್ is first of all oxidized in the presence of air. So when it is oxidized, it will be giving you the cumene hydroperoxide. So once you have got this cumene hydroperoxide, then it will be easily converted to your phenol by treating with an acid. But one of the most important thing we have to remember over here is the important byproduct obtained in this reaction. Of course, till now we were mainly focusing on the product part. Okay, we will have gotten as NaCl or water, like a small molecules we have been obtained. But in this cumene process, what we are getting is an important byproduct, that is your acetone, which is one of the major important organic solvent. Acetone. Acetone means whatever the nail polish remover iruttala, the content, that is also we can say as acetone itself. So basically, ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ, depending upon whatever the yield of the byproduct we are obtained, that makes this process somewhat special. Okay, let us see how we are going to get it. So first of all, I have said your cumene is what? Your isopropyl benzene. Okay, so how can you write that one? Yes, your benzene group is there. To that group you have been attached with an isopropyl group, that is CH3. Can you see? So your benzene is attached to CH3 twice CH. So this is called as what? Cumene. So you should remember this, how to write it. So first what we are going to do, I am going to oxidize it. So on oxidation, what I am going to get, remember, cumene hydroperoxide. That is how hydrogen peroxide is H2O2 alva. ಆ peroxide ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೂ ಬರೋದು. CH3, just see the formula, O and then H. What it is called as? Cumene hydroperoxide. Cumene hydroperoxide. Yes. ಹೇಗೆ peroxide? What is the valency of this oxygen? Yeah, peroxide in the ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ? -2. Each oxygen will be having what? -2. ಅಲ್ವಾ? H2O2 ಬರೀತಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದರ ಹೆಸರೇನು? ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಪರಾಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ತಾನೆ? Hydrogen peroxide. That means what? The O2 will be having -2 charge. So overall the O2 molecule will be having what? -2. So that is the reason it is called as what? Cumene hydroperoxide. So once we have got this cumene hydroperoxide, what we are going to do it? Yes, on acidification in the presence of water, then I will be getting my, yes, phenol. And do remember what happens is further, this is important thing. this much part, what is there, Allah? This will go out and will be forming as a CH3CO CH3. CH3CO CH3. So this is called as what? Our acetone. An important byproduct which is obtained in the cumene process is the acetone. Many times they can ask you, what is the byproduct obtained in the cumene process? It is acetone. ACETON is a common name. Of course, you can only say what will be its name, propane 2-one, alva. Propane 2-one is the IUPAC name, but common name is what? Acetone. The nail polish remover, whatever you're using, it is also an acetone itself. So that acetone we can easily obtain from cumene process. So cumene is a very important reaction. Yeah. So whenever cumene is oxidized, first we are getting a cumene hydroperoxide. Then that cumene hydroperoxide on acidification leads you the phenol, an important byproduct called as your acetone. Is that clear? And do remember it is nearly taking place at the temperature of nearly 403 Kelvin. And in order to convert this cumene hydroperoxide to the phenol, we are nearly maintaining a temperature of 373 Kelvin. Can you see? Nearly 100 degrees Celsius. Diazotization madid now 0 degrees Celsius ali. See, one of the, we can see good things of organic chemistry. Certain reaction takes place at the freezing point, but certain reaction at the boiling point, but also the products will be the same. So these are the important interesting facts of organic chemistry. In diazotization, we have nearly maintained a temperature of 0 degrees Celsius. But in cumene, we are nearly maintaining a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. That is somewhat a noteworthy point one has to know, which makes the organic chemistry chapters very much interesting. Okay, keeping it aside, of course, we came to know that whenever cumene is oxidized at nearly in a temperature of 403 Kelvin temperature, we'll be getting a cumene hydroperoxide. Treating that with cumene hydroperoxide with a dilute H2SO4 at nearly 373 Kelvin temperature, we'll be getting a phenol. Along with that, an important byproduct, that will be your acetone. Okay, acetone. Now the question arises, okay sir, when you are treating with benzene sulfonic acid, you said that how to prepare benzene sulfonic acid from benzene. That is, you have to treat with oleum or sulfuric acid. How does this cumene is obtained? Okay, this will be an additional information once again. So basically, when we treat your benzene with propene, what? Propene, CH3CH double bond CH2. Remember, in the presence of H3PO4, phosphoric acid, H3PO4, nearly in the temperature of 500 to 523. Yeah, 523 Kelvin temperature and nearly 25 atmospheric pressure. Okay. So when you are treating your benzene with a propene with the presence of your phosphoric acid, nearly at a temperature of 500 Kelvin, 500 to 523 Kelvin and nearly atmosphere of 25 atmospheres, there we will be getting our cumene. That is my CH, CH3 and a CH3. So by utilizing now this cumene, we can easily prepare the phenol as I have mentioned. Do remember, whenever they are asking you to write something that how you are preparing the phenol from cumene, how you are preparing the phenol from haloarenes or whatever it may be, first you have to write it in a sentence and then you have to give the respective reactions. Is it clear? So in our next video we will be seeing certain physical properties of our alcohols. Okay.